Hey guys, good morning and welcome. Welcome to today's session. So, I am going to do something else today. We're going to look at something else. So, I hope that everyone is fine and doing well. So, today we're going to do some coding using an AI tool called Kiro. So, let me just create some folders here and get us started. So, please go ahead and share the video. We'll wait for others to join us as we get started. All right, let's see if there are any persons joining. So I'm going to share this video on my. Um, let's see. Okay, it's on. So I'm going to share it on my status. Give me a moment, guys. Let me share it out. Oh, sorry. All right, share it. Sure. All right, so I've shared on my status, and let's see what happens. All right. Okay, I'm going to wait for others to join. I'm not seeing anybody joining yet, so I'll give it a moment. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm going to share my screen very soon for us to begin working on this. But in the meantime, let's see what happens. All right, guys. I think I can go ahead and share my screen. I see one person joining. Thanks for joining. Give me a moment. I'll share my screen and I'll introduce us to the tool that we're looking at today. It's called Kiro. The tool is called Kiro. That's what we'll look at today. I'm starting late because of some unforeseen stuff. Guys, not to worry. Next week we're going to go back to you know to our perfect programs. So today, however, we're going to look at Kiro so that it can help you as you go along, as you follow along the training. If you have any questions, any coding issues, you want to ask it a question about some of the code snippets we're sharing, you can go ahead and ask Kiro and he'll help you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen. Let's see, can I share my screen? share my screen, share screen, and I want to share. All right, so guys, if you can see my screen, this is called Kiro. This is the tool, the development tool that I'm recommending for developers and people who want to play with coding. You may not be experienced with coding, but you want to just play around with it. It is an IDE. It's a CLI IDE that is developed by Amazon Web Services, so by a dedicated team within AWS. And it's very effective. I'm recommending it for the reasons that it can help you in learning some of the models that we'll be developing. It can help you in learning how to code in any language. It can help you build stuff. It can even help you develop stores if you want to develop them, and websites and stuff like that. And it is very good. So to install it, it's a normal installation process. You just go to download Kiro and you download it in your system and you follow normal installation steps. So you see, you can download it for anything and install it. So to download it, you just go to Kiro download and you are able to download and run it. So go to this page. This is the download page, and you can simply just download it here. If you're using Windows or Mac or whatever, right, you can choose the machine type and then you download. So mine is a Windows, so you download and then just follow installation steps. You will install and it will come up using a Visual Studio. It is integrated with Visual Studio. So you see, you have a Visual Studio flare like this. And so I'm going to walk us through Kiro and how to use Kiro. It's very good. It's developed by Amazon, and so the support there is amazing. It's really neat in terms of licensing, right? So you don't need you can do a lot of things with it for free as compared to other platforms. There are others that I'll be sharing with you, but this one is really very good. So let's see, are there any people or any persons here who have used this IDE before, or who have used Kiro? Kiro is an Amazon developed product, and so we're going to use it. So I've already downloaded Kiro on my system, and we're going to test it out today. So let me open up a folder here, and we're going to test Kiro and develop something with it and show you how you can use Kiro. So I'm going to open a store. So we're going to create a store today called Store Dance or something like that, and I'll show you how it looks. So let me share this other screen. Give me a moment. So stop sharing and reshare. So reshare my screen. I want to share a different screen and show you how Kiro would look when you download it. So let's see. Where's my Kiro? Okay. Give me a moment, guys, as I try to share this. So let's see if we can share. Oh, this doesn't let me share. All right, I'll share my entire screen for this demo purposes. All right. So I think you can see my entire screen, but I'm sharing this one now. So let me see what I'm sharing on there. Not a good idea to share the entire screen because it'll be showing my window here. So let's see. Let's stop sharing and redo this, guys. I'm going to try to share again. Share my screen and try to share a single window. All right, here you go. This is the window I'm sharing. All right, good. So I think it's working now. So I think it's working. So guys, just let me know if you can see my window, the window I'm sharing. It's this window right here. Just let me know if you can see my window. And the window is basically this one. It's a Kiro window. Once you download Kiro and install it, you need to just go to your apps and search for Kiro, right? And Kiro will come up this way. And yeah, that's it. Let me check my phone to see if this is actually sharing it. So give me a moment here. I want to confirm that I'm sharing the right screen. Yeah, I'm sharing the right screen. This is perfect. All right, guys. So once you're on Kiro, once you download and install Kiro, you want to open you want to open it just as you open it with Visual Studio Code. So if you know about Visual Studio Code, it has the same flair. It has the same kind of feeling, right? So it has the same kind of feeling. Visual Studio Code, you just do this and you open a folder. So I've opened a folder called Store Dance, but then you can go back to your Kiro. And this is how the Kiro space looks. You have the specs, you have the agent hooks, you have the agent steering, and you have the MCP servers. We are not going to use a lot of these things. And this is how the chat panel looks. The chat panel has the vibe, which is chat first, then build, explore ideas, and iterate as you discover needs, right? As you discover needs. And then the spec is it first plans out your work and tells you how that work is going to be executed before it goes on with execution. So we're going to, for now, use spec, and we're going to develop a simple store. We're going to call the store dance, right? We want to dance through the store. So we're going to work with Kiro and ask it to develop a spec for us. It's like a specification document, right? A document which really lays out step by step what you want to develop. And then you ask Kiro to do a requirement document from there, and then you build your app. You can build your app. You can ask Kiro for anything. You can ask Kiro for things that you're doing in your AWS environment or at work, and so on and so forth. I will share another IDE with you. It'll be called Cursor. So we'll be sharing them as we go. We'll share Cursor. We'll share others as we go with this. But today we're looking at Kiro. And as I mentioned, it is built and maintained by AWS or by Amazon, right? And so we're using the spec, this panel here, the spec panel. And let us then ask Kiro a question. We're going to prompt Kiro to do something for us. So what we're going to do is do this. Create a store, an online store. Let's say an online store. That's what we want to create. An online store named Store Dance. This store is going to sell items, including what do you guys want us to sell? Female beauty. No, let's not say female beauty product. Let's say beauty products. Beauty products, including lipsticks, wigs, hair stuff, lotions, etc. Ensure that the store has a dark theme and a really modern UI and UX experience. We want to test this store locally, so you will deploy it locally before we proceed to launch it online, right? So this is all you're going to ask this Kiro to do for you, right? And then you follow up. You have like it will give you a spec. You look at the spec. If it matches your description and what you want, you can say, all right, you approve of it, or you continue to iterate and ask it to modify your spec for you, right? So this is what we want to build. We want to build a simple online store, and the store is going to be a beauty shop or something like that. And you can literally build this for yourself, guys. So AI is now offering you the opportunity to even sit in your room and build your thing alone without consulting a web developer if you want to just get started. And that's why we're telling you, you know, with a laptop and network and or Wi-Fi or whatever, internet, you're able to do anything possible. So we don't want to hear people complaining a lot about, you know, we can't do this because of this. You can do it. There are IDEs that you can even use your phone to do them, to develop stuff, right? Develop stores, develop things. So guys, let's go out there and explore things, right? And explore and build stuff, and there are models that you can use online. You can use even drop shipping models. You can use and order things from China, deliver them wherever you are. You can order things from different places. So we're going to remember I told you in the beginning, this course is going to be interactive. So what is happening when you do this prompt? Remember last week or the past weeks, we've been talking about you giving information to models and models working behind. So these models that will be transforming and doing all these interactions have been trained with a lot of data to understand how to understand user prompts. So you're prompting it, you're giving it a piece of information, and it will go and process this information, and it will be outputting or giving you an output, right? It will go out and use its agents and be able to build through the process and then give you an output. So this is what we're going to prompt it. So just hit enter. You see it opens up your Kiro environment, and it's saying, I'll help you create a comprehensive spec for the store dance. We should have called it dance store, maybe store dance. The name just came to mind, store dance. So it's going to create a document, a specs document. So you see that a new document has appeared here, and you can open it up. You see it's creating the requirement. You see it started creating the requirement, and it's giving you an introduction of what it feels like or what it thinks your request is. So it's saying Store Dance is a modern e-commerce platform specializing in beauty products, including lipsticks, wigs, hair accessories, lotions, and related beauty items. The platform features a dark theme with a contemporary UI UX design optimized for local development and testing before online deployment, which sounds like what we gave it as a prompt, right? So it's already done it, and it's asking you to move to the design phase. So now you want to go ahead and review this document, guys. So this is like your specification document, like the requirements you're gathering from your team. And then these are things that it's giving you as the glossary. So these are like features it will add. So store down system, the complete e-commerce web application, including a front end, back end, and database components. And then you have a product catalog, you have a shopping cart, you have a user account, you have order management system, a payment gateway, an inventory system, and a dark theme, of course. And so you can read through and see the frameworks that it would use and everything that it would use, right? You see? So this is how the specification document is. And it's the same thing if you were hiring somebody, a team to develop a store for you. These are the same things that they will be doing, right? They'll ask you a series of questions. Hey, what do you want the store to look like? And so on. All right, so we'll move to design. So you see, I've asked it to move to the design stage. It was waiting for you to give it more information so that it can proceed and do a design for the store. And so you can see that it's continued to developing a design document. And that document will be called the requirements.md file. So those are the requirements. It will give you all the details, the technical details on what it will be developing in the course of this. So it's created that, and then it's creating a design.md document. So there are a couple of documents that will show up once we do this. And you can see the documents. The documents, you have to come back to your to the place where, if you're a Visual Studio Code user, you have to come back to your Explorer here to see the document. So we have a design document and we have a requirement document. And the requirement document is formatted this way. Stored as, it gives an introduction, and it gives you like the acceptance criteria, what will be accepted. When a customer visits the stored as system, then the system shall display product categories. You see, it's highlighting some of these keywords. The system will do this, the system will do this, it shall do that, it shall do that. And if that is acceptable, then you ask you to move ahead, right? So it gives you all these requirements and the steps that, the things that will be accepted when the system is built. So you have to review all of these and make sure they're all good. And then the design document. This is the design document where it already is very technical. It's giving you like the steps, the things it would do, right? So this is the architecture here. It's giving you the architecture, what it will use, the language it will use, the framework it will use, and so on and so forth. So you can see the system architecture. The stored as system follows a 3-tier architecture, and then it gives you a presentation layer, which will use the React / Next.js front end with Tailwind, and the CSS for dark theme styling. And then for the application layer, it's going to use Node.js, Express, REST APIs with business logic and authentication. And then for the data layer, for those who understand architectures, it's going to use a PostgreSQL database, right? With proper normalization and indexing. And so these are the stacks that it's going to leverage, right? These are the technology stacks that it's going to leverage. For backend, we use that as specified above. For databases, it's going to use Postgre 15. For authentication, it's going to use JWT. For payment gateway, it's going to use a Stripe API integration. And for development, it's going to use Docker Compose, because we're going to launch this locally, and all of that. You see, so it creates all of these details for you. And it even then gives you the model, the data models that it's going to use, right? You can see the product model, and it gives you a description of it. You see, it gives you really a nice already syntax that it's going to use in your database, and all of these details, right? So you can read through it, and if it's good, you can tell Kiro to move to implementation plan rather. So you've asked it to move to the implementation plan. Remember, I showed you two windows, or two tabs in the window. I showed you the spec tab, and I showed you the vibe one. The vibe would have gone directly into producing code for you. It would have gone without asking you anything. But the spec part, because I selected the spec, it's asking you and giving you a pre thing that it would do, like documentation, so that you can look at it and correct it. If this is exactly really what you want, you can correct it and give it details, and you and then you have to accept what's in it. So let's see. We have two persons watching. All right. So let's see. Any questions? Do you have any questions, guys? Any questions on this tool? It's a neat tool. So go ahead and ask any questions that you may have. We are looking at Kiro today. Kiro is a development tool. It's like an assistant developer. It's an assistant developer. It can help you with the work that you're doing. Any development work in any language, in anything that you're doing, and it can help you build specification documents, and you can launch your online store just as we are doing, right? This is an online store that we want to launch. You can do it yourself. You don't need anything to be able to do this. You just need to download Kiro, which is an Amazon IDE developed for Amazon to support its work, and then it's been launched in July 2025. And teams are already making use of it. And so that's what we're exploring today, so it can help you as you learn through. So if you just pull that course that I've been sharing and ask it to explain the models to you, it will just go ahead and explain those models. It will just help you through all of that, right? So this is just a neat tool that will help us as we go along. And guys, feel free to ask any questions that you may have. All right, so let's go back to our Kiro. So Kiro has developed another document for us called a task document, tasks.md, and it's waiting for us to start development. So you see, it's telling you it's done this. The current task list marks some tasks. So if you want to go ahead and ask it to start, keep optional tasks faster MVP. So you can do that and make all tasks required. So you can make all tasks required. So let's keep the optional tasks. So we just want to go ahead with the tasks that are required. So we've given it. So it will modify the document again for us, right? And then we're going to go now to the task document. So let's go to the task document. You see, it's giving you the next step. You can now begin implementing the store downs by the store down store by opening the tasks.md file and clicking start task. So if you go to this file, you see that it's categorized it into various steps that will build everything that you've defined. And you see, I told it to skip the optional tasks. Optional tasks are like the nice to have, but I asked it to skip those so that we can really do this thing quickly and get out of here, right? And so to start, you just need to click on start task, right? You see, you've started the first task, which is setting up the project. So you see that files will start appearing here, which is setting up the project structure and development environment. So you install tools that it needs. You set up your code here, and a lot of files will start appearing here, right? And so this is what it's doing, and it'll be asking you questions here from time to time, and you need to accept for it to move forward, right? So that's what it's doing right now. Okay, let's see what it's doing. So it's going ahead with this first task right here. So let's see. Go ahead and set up our environment. See, it's working. So it's asking for a yes. You can say yes so that it proceeds. Yeah, yes. So it's asking if you meant yes or no. You meant yes. So the yes has to be an explicit yes, right? Has too many active changes, only a subset of Git features will be enabled. Okay, that's fine. So you see the task is ongoing. It's creating a series of files. So it's created the store dance repository for us, or the store dance folders for us, right? And inside these folders already you see that it's created your Node.js modules. And the Node.js modules has a lot of files in there. It's created your source file, which will have your source code, your app, you'll have your icon. So you see it's creating a fav icon that we'll use, like this is the icon that will show on on your website, that little thing that will show up there. And it's creating different files for you guys. Your CSS files, it's created your page files, and so many other files in here. And then it's creating your next files, your Next.js files, right? Your config files, and so many other files in here, and even a README that you can see to understand whatever is going on. So it's going ahead and setting up a structured project for you, and it's giving you more information about it right here. So you see that this already, if you're a developer, this already sets you up like 50% of the work structure is already done, and you have to just continue from there, right? And you can just be doing modifications and asking it to tailor things the way you want, right? So it is really a tool that helps you with development. It helps you set up your environment. It helps you build everything. So let's go back to our tasks and make sure that it's progressing as expected. You see, so it's still setting up the environment for you. So this first task, when it's finished, you tell you that it's done with the first task, and you need to click this one to start the next task. So That's what's going on here now. So let's see if anybody has any questions. I don't see any questions. So I'll put the link to download this tool on the chat here. So here's the link. Okay, so I've put a link to download the tool on our chat. Feel free to use the link and download the tool yourself. You see, you can be doing your other things while waiting for the tool to do its work, right? So you see it's going on and doing its work. Is that a paid version we can use? No, this is not a paid version. So Sahan, this is not a paid version. This is totally free. I've not paid anything. So this is totally free. I don't know like the limit that AWS puts per day, but I think it's going to it's. I've been using this since I downloaded it. I've used it like literally since then, and I've not paid anything so far. So I don't know how the paid version will look or how credits would look in terms of credits. We can Google that to find out more. But so far, it's been working for me without anything. Thank you for clear explanation. Awesome. Thank you, Sahar. All right, so let's go back to our tool to see what's happening with it. So it's asking you, it wants you to run something. So you can either reject, it will give you the prompt that it wants to create. It wants to create a database folder, and it's asking you to prompt to accept that. Yes, go ahead and create it. You see, so it's using the MECDIR database to create a database folder, right? So you see the database folder that's been created, and it's creating an init script for you, and it needs SQL script that it will use in your database. So in here, you see that different things will be created, extensions, tables, schemas, then it will insert users into your database already called admin at storedance.com. It will insert a passcode, a password inside your database. It will create indexes to make sure that, so create an email index, a user email index, and a user created art index to make sure that it's faster, right? And so it's asking you whether to create a Docker Compose config file. Yes, please go ahead and create that Docker Compose config file. So it's interacting with you, right? Kiro is interacting with you. It is your friend. It's like AWS is looking for a partner, a development partner. It's like you're in a team and you have a development partner with you. And through these guys, you can learn. For those watching, if you are, you don't know anything about development work, you can actually use this as a learning mechanism. For those who are still like, I don't know Python, you can use this to learn Python. Just ask it to teach you Python step by step and explain every concept. It will walk you through. It's like a mid-level developer teaching you how to code. And you see, it gives you a structure for everything that it creates. It gives you a structure for everything. So I think the first task is done. You see, task is complete. So it's giving you the task that it completed, and everything is neat, right? And so you want to go to task 2. And let's start task 2, configure database and core data models. Now, it's created that database file. It's going to use it and create more files in there and create the data model and create different things. And these are the things it's going to do, right? It's going to set up your Postgre database with Docker. So you want to make sure that Docker is running on your system, that you have Docker if you're following. You want to have a Docker desktop if you're using Windows, and make sure that it's up and running. So install Docker on your system, whatever system you're using, to test this out. If you're following me, right? Yeah, you want to have Docker because it is going to use that engine, the Docker engine, to test this locally. So it's going to deploy like Docker containers or create Docker containers. It will create a Docker file. That Docker file will be used to create Docker containers, and it will create images and push them out in your Docker environment. So you need to have Docker installed, right? And so you see, it created a Docker file, and that Docker file will be doing what? It will be, since we're using Node.js, it will use a base image of Node.js, and it will set up your work directory called app. You see, so it will go into that work directory. And remember, the work directory was created right here, right? Remember the work directory that was created inside our store dance. Remember that? Yeah, exactly. So that's it. And then it will copy some of these files over. You remember I created these files here, this JSON, for all these package files. You copy them over to that work directory, and then you install some dependencies, including npm and so on. And it will do a bunch of things and expose your application on port 300. That's what it will do, and then it will run start and so on for a development server. So this is our Docker file. So it's created that, and it's creating other things, right? There are a lot of other files that it's creating, which we're going to use. So if you go back to your task, you see them. So it's task two. No, there's still the first part is complete. It's on the second part. So you set up your Docker configuration for Postgres, you set up your database connection utilities, it's created a database migration system, and now it's going into implementation of your core data models. So this is what it's doing. It's creating your product model with TypeScript interfaces. It will create the user model with authentication fields, and it will create order and cart models with relationships. So it's going to create all those files and how they'll be relating to each other, right? Okay, so let's see. We'll refresh here and see more files that are being created. So let's see. So it's creating your database.ts files, creating your product.ts file, creating your users.ts files. So it's all files in here. Let's see. Let's go back to source. Your models should be in here. Product.ts file, user.ts file. So this is how users will be created. See, cart. So it's creating the feature, cart feature. And this is that app that I was telling you inside source. Has a lot of things. All right, so this is very neat, guys. And so you can be discussing and going while this thing is working and creating your stuff for you. All right, let's come back here and see if there are any questions. No questions. All right. Feel free to ask any questions you may have, guys. While this thing is doing its work, it's doing its development for us and interacting with the system. I want to launch this thing before we go, right? So if remember, I mentioned that if you wanted it to go faster, you could use the vibe option, where you just give it that prompt and it will just go ahead and blow right to the end and create things right to the end, right? But we're using the spec model, which is like an interaction. You're discussing with it, giving it prompts, giving it things, and it's giving you back some feedback. Okay. So let's see. Let's go back here into our development environment. So it's creating a lot of files inside here, right? So this is the data model. It's creating a lot of files, like your products file, and it will contain a lot of product. You see, and it's the product model, and it's styling everything. Let's see. Okay, let's see what's inside the orders. The order schema, the order model, and a lot of them. Now it's installing tools. I think it's installing npm. Let's go to our task requirements and see what it's doing. So I think it's completed this task two. It's completed task two, and it's installing the last things there. So let's wait for it to just complete installation, and then we'll go to task three. You see, it would have written test cases for us to test whether all the features it created are functioning correctly, but I refused that test, right? I didn't allow it to create the test because I told it, hey, let's keep those things now. We don't really want them for now because this is just a development thing that we're building. We don't want to have all those tests. Please go ahead and just create the main things for us. And that's why it grayed out these ones, right? So you could also just start them and it will develop test cases for all of these things. But let's just complete this and then now we can go to task 3. So it's still, you see, it's still working here. So it's building, I think it's already building an image of the things that it's created already. You see, it's copying the file, so it's doing Docker build, and it's building using the Docker file that we had. See, it's unpacking and pushing these things out. And so in your Docker engine, you should be able to already see images coming up in a moment, right? It will start pushing up images. And if you look at build, you have some build artifacts that it's done. Yes, I already have a stored as build artifact here. You know, and you can review it, and then it will push out images in a moment. You push out images in a moment. Very soon, when this thing is done, you push out images. Where is it? All right, so it's done that, and I think it's creating like acceptance documents. It wants to document this step to make sure that everything is documented. Okay, it's installing npm still. All right, already installed npm. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Okay, setting up things. That means already exists. Script. Let me update the C. Can you guys still hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, guys. Sometime my browser is messing up. All right, so it's going ahead with the develop. I think it's done. So it's done. You see, it's done. That part is complete. Now we're going to start the next step. So it's completed this task. We're going to start the next step, which is this one. So let's go ahead and implement. So you see, it's implementing the tasks. And you can follow as well and see whatever it's doing. So this step is basically the authentication and user management system that it's creating. And after this, it's going to go to task 4, which is building the product catalog and inventory system. And then it's going to go to task 5, which is developing the front end UI components. And then the next task after that, which is 6, will be implementing the shopping cart functionality. And then the next one will be checkpoints. So ensure all tests are passed and all that. And then 9, it's going to implement a checkout and payment processing system. And then I think the next one will be building the order management system. And then the 11th would be creating the application pages, the main pages on your application. And then the 12 will be setting up your email notification system. 13 will be adding sample data. So add some data into the system. And then step 14 will be final integration and testing, right? So this is where it is going. I think we are going to stick around and see what happens. We're going to, so yeah, I think we're going to stick around and see what happens with those guys. In the meantime, let me make sure that the YouTube video is uploading correctly. So I'm going to go to another browser and log into YouTube to and edit the video a little bit to make sure that it's doing the right thing. So give me a moment as I do this, guys. All right. So if I go to the studio, what you see, I can do other things while this thing is developing. And feel free, guys, to ask me any questions you may have. If you have questions, go ahead and post them. Let's respond. And so you see that if you're developing a career in in um, in technology or in anything tech now, it's really easy. You have tools, although these tools can easily replace replace you if you see that this is actually a developer, right? So everybody is a developer now with these tools. But then actual real components knowledge is needed. How this translates to actual business is needed. How this is actually used in major systems that can withstand pressure, that can withstand scalability issues, that can withstand security issues, and so on and so forth. So it needs real people who have been working for long, who know the systems, and those are the skill sets that you need to be able to do that, and where this will be deployed and how it is managed when it is deployed and all that, how you deal with outages and so many other things, right? So those are skill sets that it still needs. You still need to be able to get this working correctly. All right. So let's go back. I think it's prompting us to run something. So let's run. It's running Docker Compose on this to create those images. Let's see the images that it's created. So if you go to your Docker environment, you will see some images are created for your store dance. Yes, so I see store dance, and it's created a couple of images under my store dance, a couple of containers, sorry. So it's created a database container, it's created a Redis container, it's created an app container. So it's created 3 containers for me right here. Right, so it's done that. Let's see where it is. Is it complete? No, it's not complete, and it's running npm again to rebuild and push out the new images with the changes that it's done. All right, so while it's doing that, let's continue our discussions. Let's see. Okay. So I don't see the video here yet. Okay, I think it will appear live. So it's going to be on the live. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. So it's going to be on the live. Yeah. Let me see. It's asking for some stuff. None of the above. Yeah. Save. And then this one. Sorry, I'm just updating some of my settings here. Give me a moment, guys. So this thing is still working. If you're doing it alongside, then you should also be busy. I hope you're doing it alongside, guys. You're developing your own thing. You can prompt it for something else and not just this app that we're doing, right? If this app is so beautiful, maybe I can actually use it in real time and do a shop called Store Dance. Yeah, I can do a Store Dance shop, right? At the end of this, maybe I don't know. So you can follow along. Okay. All right. Let me see. I think it's appearing correctly now on YouTube. Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. So, any questions with your own development? Because this is going to take a while. This is going to take a while. Let's see. One thing I don't know is whether you can transition. You can transition from spec to you can transition from spec to vibe while it's already in progress. So this is what I'm going to find out. So you see the various models that it's using, guys. So it comes with different models. So you can actually have, select a model that you want to use. You can use a Claude model, you can use a Claude 4.5 model, you can use different models. And it gives you some credits with those models, right? So let's see. It's asking, so it's requesting for more things. So you got an error here. It will ask, you modify and give you to run again. So you see it's running. So I'm trying to see if you can change. I'm looking at the settings here. If you can change after, let's see. Can you change this tile? That's what I don't know. Let me see. And you can create MCP servers. These are like agentic kind of things in AWS. Let me see what this looks like. But we don't want to do that. We are working. MCP servers are AWS agentic servers that you can create and allow them begin to do your work for you. Plan your work well ahead, and it does that for you. But we'll focus on Kiro. I don't know why AWS calls it Kiro or Cairo, but it's Kiro. So it's done with that part. So that we're going to go back to our file, which was a task file. It's up there, and go to the next step. So it's finishing up this one. So it's set up. Let's see where it was. All right, so it's completed that one, and we're going to go to task 4. So it's creating the document. I think it's done. All right, so let's create task 4, which is building the product catalog and inventory system. So it's gone, started it. So I'm going to find out. Let me Google around. Let's Google. So let's ask the question: Can you change the? Can you change from spec to vibe on Kiro once already started, and vice versa? Let's see what it says. Yes, you can switch between vibe and spec mode in Cairo or Kiro, but you typically start a new session or use specific commands within a vibe session to generate a spec. As they design as distinct phases for different development processes, vibe being conversational, spec being structured for complex tasks. You can even start a spec from a vibe by telling it to generate spec, and Kiro will create requirements, blah, blah, blah. So let me see the transition, how to transition vibe to spec. In your vibe session, describe your ideal task, give a command. So we can probably ask it to go to vibe. You can just ask it to switch to vibe and it will just do the switching for you. It looks like. All right, so let's see. I can try that. And if it switches to vibe, it will just develop this thing once. Like it will just follow it will just follow this without asking you anything and go ahead and develop everything. But I wanted us to explore this so you see the step-by-step process of doing this. All right, I don't think we are going to complete this, but I'm going to complete this because this video will get longer. I'm going to complete this now in the next video. I'll show you the output of this. But what I want to do now is, can you switch to vibe and so that vibe can follow the documentation and complete all these tasks without stopping. So I'm asking it a question. Let's see what it does. So it will stop that operation. I understand you see it's answering us. Let's see. Oh, so it's saying, however, I don't have the ability to switch or to activate vibe mode directly. You would need to switch to vibe mode through your Kiro interface, provide vibe with the context of what we've accomplished so far and what remains to be done to help with the transition. Here's what I've completed. Oh, so we can actually do that. Let me see. Yeah, so this is a quick way. You can just copy this and give it and create a new, like a new. Yeah, let's do this. Let's copy this and switch. So this is a good learning opportunity. Let's switch to a new session. So let's see how to start a new session. Let's go to Kiro. We're going to, let's see. All right, new session. There you go. Okay, so switch to new session. And you see, we're giving it a new prompt. I started development using the spec process, but I want to switch to vibe so that development can continue. Here, review the store dance code created by the vibe session and created by the spec spec session and continue development until the end. Here is what has been completed so far. You see, so I'll give it the task that I copied and ask it to work on it. Let's see what it does. I'll review the current store dance code and continue development to complete the inventory management system. Let me first. So you see, it's going to review the files, to read all the files, and then it's going to continue work. You see, it's reading the files, it's reading step-by-step files. Perfect. Now I understand the current state. The inventory management system has basic API. Is missing key features for real-time tracking. So it's going to continue creating, right? And so we just did a switch, and this thing has just understood everything. It's read some of the files, not all. It's not read all the files, and it's going to continue work. But it's able to review. It will be reviewing them and making sure that everything is good. This one will be faster, so it can complete it in one go. So I told you the difference between vibe and vibe and spec, right? They see that it's able to then reorganize itself and do this one completely. So let's see what it does. This could take about 20 minutes to finish the entire thing, rather than us having to click and follow. This one is like a step by step. Maybe you're at work and you're following it step by step and making sure that it creates, and you're iterating and asking it for more fixes and stuff. While this one, you can just create it in a single go. So let's see what it does. But we'll end the video here for today, guys. And next week, I'll show you the outcome of this, the output of this, the website it developed or whatever it developed for us, right? So you can do same if you started developing with spec. You can continue to the end to see what it does, but you could also then switch to the vibe mode if you want to, or try a new session completely, a new vibe session completely. All right, guys. So that's it for today. Let me know if you have any other questions. If you have, anything about IT in general, you can ask, and we are going to try to help you. Else, leave us your comments, share our videos, and help us build this together, guys. Thank you, and have a nice rest of your day. Bye-bye.